My dear, when I was young, life looked so different from what you see today. The air used to carry the scent of earth after the rain, and every sunset painted the sky in colors that whispered peace to the heart. I was a little girl with dreams brighter than the sun, living in a small village where time moved slowly. My mother's laughter echoed in the kitchen, my father's voice hummed through the walls, and I thought the world would always stay that gentle. But life has a way of changing when we least expect it. One day, a stranger came to our village, someone my parents trusted, someone who looked kind, but behind his eyes hid something dark. That was the first time I learned that not everyone who smiles means well. I was too young to understand fear, yet my soul felt it before my mind did. He would come often, bringing sweets and stories, and soon my parents began to leave me with him when they went to the fields. I remember the smell of his coat, the sound of his shoes on the floor, the coldness in the air when he was near. Something inside me knew that innocence was slipping away, even before I could name it. Time passed, and I grew quieter, more distant. My mother asked what was wrong, but how could I tell her something I didn't even understand? Back then, girls were taught to stay silent, to obey, to never question the grown-ups. Silence became my shadow, and pain became my secret. I carried it everywhere, through school, through laughter, through years that never truly healed. There were nights when I would stare at the stars and whisper to them, asking why some hearts choose to harm instead of love. The stars never answered, but they kept me company. I found peace in small things: the wind against my face, the way the leaves moved when storms came, the hope that one day, I would be free of the heaviness inside me. When I turned 16, I left the village. I walked away from every memory that had a scar hidden inside it. I thought distance would heal me, but pain travels with you, doesn't it, my dear? I moved to the city, learned to work, to smile when I had to, and to cry when no one was watching. The city was loud and full of people, but loneliness has a way of finding you even there. I met a man who said he loved me. His words were soft like silk, his promises warm like sunlight. For the first time, I believed that maybe, just maybe, I was worthy of love. But promises can be fragile. Life tested me again. The man who once held my hand forgot how to hold my heart. Love turned into distance, distance into silence, and silence into goodbye. I lost myself trying to hold on to someone who was already gone. Yet even in heartbreak, I learned something powerful: that I didn't need anyone to complete me. I only needed to find myself again. That realization took years. I worked, I fell, I rose again. I learned to cook the recipes my mother made. I wrote letters to the girl I used to be, and I forgave the past, not because it deserved forgiveness, but because I deserved peace. Every wrinkle on my face now carries a story, some of laughter, some of tears, but all of survival. My dear, the world will test you, people will break you, but never let your heart forget how to love, even after it's been shattered. I used to hate the nights because they reminded me of fear, but now I sit by my window and talk to the moon, and I tell her, you and I, we've seen darkness, but we still shine. Maybe that's what strength really means: not never falling, but rising again and again, softer each time but stronger inside. Life has taken much from me, but it has also given me something precious: the ability to feel deeply. That's what makes stories like mine worth telling. That sometimes when I sit on this old wooden chair, I close my eyes and hear the echoes of my younger self, the laughter, the cries, the silent prayers. I imagine walking back to that little girl and telling her, it's going to hurt, but you will survive, and one day, you'll help others survive too. You see, pain has a strange purpose: it teaches us compassion. Without the storms, we'd never understand the beauty of calm. I often tell my grandchildren that kindness can save a soul more than advice ever can. There was a time I thought I'd never smile again, but life surprised me. I found friends who became family. I found strength in helping others who carried pain like I once did. Sometimes strangers would sit beside me and share their stories, and in their words, I saw pieces of my own heart. Maybe that's what makes us human: we're all just trying to heal each other without saying it out loud. Now when people look at me, they see wrinkles, gray hair, and tired eyes, but inside me still lives that little girl who learned to be brave when the world wasn't kind. I tell my stories not to seek pity, but to remind others that surviving is an art. You take the pain, the brokenness, the silence, and you turn it into something beautiful. If my voice reaches even one soul tonight, if one lonely heart finds comfort in these words, then every scar I've carried was worth it. I've learned that the past never really goes away, it becomes part of who we are, but it doesn't have to define us. You can walk out of the fire and still smell of hope. My dear, if you ever feel alone, remember this: someone out there has walked through the same darkness and is still standing. Maybe that someone is me. And if I could make it here, so can you. I hope you remember to be gentle with yourself, to forgive what you couldn't change, and to hold your heart like it's the most fragile thing in the universe, because it is. The world will tell you to toughen up, but I'll tell you the opposite. Stay soft. Soft hearts heal the hardest wounds. I may be old, but every night I still dream of a tomorrow full of peace, where no child has to lose their smile too early, where love is safe, and kindness is free. Until that day comes, I'll keep telling my stories from this chair, with my voice trembling but my soul steady. Because sometimes, all a broken world needs, is someone who still believes in healing. And if you're listening, my dear, promise me this: when life hurts you, don't let it turn you cold. Turn that pain into wisdom. Turn your silence into strength. And when you walk through your storms, remember my story and whisper to yourself, if Grandma Jeannie could survive it all, so can I. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to our channel.